Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we have the iRacing AI JKR GT3, I don't know what to call this series championship. So today is race 5 of 6 in the GT3 series at Sebring. I kind of alluded to this. I could never remember which race went along with Watkins for the final two, but it is Sebring and it is today. Just some housekeeping things before we get going. We are 7 points ahead in Cross and 18 points ahead of Lauren, I believe, in the championship. That's the top three. Everybody else is 25 or so or more back, so not going to be factors unless something happens to them or I usually. So just to keep in mind that. If I have any weird mic issues today, I apologize. I've been through this many times. Unfortunately, not a lot I can do about it. Can't really be fixed in that regard, so that's unfortunate, but it's okay. Got what we got. If you haven't watched the previous 4 races of the series, especially last time out at Road Atlanta, to kind of set the stage of where we are today, make sure you go back and do that, as well as all the previous series from Formula V all the way through the GT4 that came before this. Kind of, I want to say set the stage again, but it kind of just provides some backstory how we got to this point, the build up, all those things. So that's something to keep in mind. Looks like it's about an afternoon race day here. Pretty hot track temp actually. Not going to practice or anything. Should be good to go. Just going to head up for Q trim. And yeah, so hopefully we don't need 10 attempts at the Q trim or the race. I know the race here in Formula 3 we had at least 1 restart, maybe 2, just because of how messy it can be. And I think that I made contact with Tran actually in the GT4 race, if I remember correctly to that. So those of you that watch these more in order of closer to now, and then it was several weeks ago now. But I remember it was a notable thing is I just about died there. I don't know what I did there. Yikes. No. Been out of the seat. This is my first time in the seat today. So just something to keep in mind there. Gotta make sure I don't be too much of a stupid person here on this out lap for sure. Not worried about raw Q pace. We know we have great race pace. Especially the last 2 races, I've been very happy with how our car has driven and responded. So we should be at least within a shout here of a top 5, which will be great for the points. If we can finish ahead of Nim here today, then I think we'll only need to finish at worst 8th or something next time out at Watkins, which could be a little bit of a crazy race. So something to keep in mind if you're keeping the mental track of the tally of the points as we go. We are 7 points ahead going in, so if we're running 2nd and 3rd, myself and Nim, it would of course be 8 points going towards the next event. So just something to keep in mind. What else have we got? I haven't announced yet what the following thing to this, I guess, is going to be, but it will be a little bit of a couple of special or event things. This is the final full-time series. I've hinted at that for a couple of reasons. I want to do an LMP series, but the LMP car is a little bit weird with the damage model currently in AIs and how they react and stuff, so there isn't going to be like another level on top of this for like the top series. This is it. And I'll talk about that again in the next video and what comes next and so on. So this is what we got right now, and we got this in Watkins Glen, and then we got a couple surprises there coming up after that. So try not to do any silly mistakes here. Not my best track ever, but decent amount of seat time. I'm not a great qualifier here for whatever reason usually, but we'll see what we can do. So ready to rock and roll, put our solid lap down hopefully, and hope we can make it through. Curious to see how the wing plays out here. This is a little bit more of a high stress track as far as the bumps and stuff for aero. But I usually run pretty well here in race trim actually. For whatever reason, just Q trim is not my forte around here. Maybe because you have to push so hard and be so confident over the bumps perhaps, but we usually race pretty well, so if we can just start up in the top 5 or so, that would be plenty good enough for me. And even if we're down the teens, I think we'll still have a shot at top 5 coming into the race. We know we have great long run pace in this Mercedes, so something to keep an eye on. Just about get the thing stopped. Maybe I should be using first through there, but whatever, it's fine. Gotta try to get the pedals all warmed up and stuff here. I feel strongly about it. I feel like our race pace has been fantastic since Daytona. Daytona we were kind of at the lunch spot, we were pretty good, but other than that, it's kind of, you know, one of those weird things. So, but we've been excellent. Road America, obviously, I botched it with the incident at the end of the race, and then Road Atlanta, great pace all through. So, we can just be solidly in the hunt here. We should be looking okay to have some nice points coming our way. There we go, just about get the thing turned in there, a little bit squiggly on the front. Sunset Bend turn 17 yet to come, and then that'll be our Q lap, assuming it's not horrible. And we'll just, we'll take it and we'll go on. Missed everything on entry there, see if we can roll it back in. We do. Decent Q lap, so we'll see how we stack up here. We'll take this lap for our official Q lap, it looks like. 2035, that's okay. We're not going to be up near the front. Looks like we're actually going to be in the teens, or maybe worse. Let's see what these other guys are running in race train. Like I said, well, I guess we're only about a second off, so it's not that bad. I've never really been a great qualifier here. I remember the GT3 race, or excuse me, the GT4 race, the F3 race, and some other races. We just did not have great Q pace here, and I don't know why. I guess we're only about a second off, so that's encouraging. That I can find more time there pretty easily, I guess. Nim is only about 6 or 7 spots ahead of us, and Lauren's only 5 spots ahead of us, so that's encouraging that neither of them are up in the top 5 or so. But yeah, we'll see what we got as far as long run pace here. Expect it to be a little bit of a trickier race. We know Drew has great pace in his Mercedes. Dale Jr. was standout at a previous race at Daytona. Not the previous race, but a previous race. Double check, make sure everything's working correctly. It appears to be. Cool, we'll grid up. Tran's been fast. You know, was incredibly fast at Road Atlanta. Had a lot of issues. Kevin Bobbitt as well. So we've got some work to do here to pick off some of these cars, but that's okay. That's all in fun and games. So, do a quick pedal reset here. Make sure everything is good to go. Everything looks good. Should be all set. We got 40 race. That's what I didn't mention. Obviously, we just have the 2 Q laps. I only took 1, and standard length 45-minute races like all these have been. So, starting 15th isn't bad. You see there the bright minty car of Jimmy Broadbent there off our corner. Everything nice and heated up here. The FPS is going to struggle a little bit here on the pace lap. Don't worry, it'll fix itself out once we get more spread out and get rolling. Always not so good when you start right in the middle of a big pack like this of 40 cars. So, see how we get on here. Again, if we could just get 2 or 3 spots first lap, I'm not going to be too aggressive. It's not like we need points here. It's not like Nim and Lauren are too far up the road. So, something just to keep in mind there. We need to be aggressive to try and make our way forwards, but not so aggressive that we put ourselves in a bad spot. I don't want to have to do this race 10 times. Because it is a pretty long pace lap. Not Road America long, but, you know, solid 3-minute pace lap. So, see what we can do here today. I like the McLaren Flames. I wish they'd have more cars that were able to do that. I don't know why that car is the one that, or the only one I should say, that spits fire on the back pressure out the exhaust pipes, but it does look very cool. So, yeah, I was gonna say, let's see if we can get closer to see a nice view of that. It looks cool. I wish all the cars did that. I don't know. Our strengths have been, maybe not even in this car, but just in general, short run. First couple laps, we've been very, very fast in most of these series, most of these races. Maybe not so much in this GT3 car, though. We saw at Road Atlanta, we won the pole. Didn't exactly pull away immediately. We were kind of under fire for a little bit, and we ultimately had the long run pace once we got things settled in a little bit. But we'll see what we have today. We don't need, like I said, to be stupid fast or take big risks. We have a decent point buffer, and we can still see Nim and Lauren up ahead. So that's all we need. We just need to finish up in the top 5, and hopefully in front of those 2, and we'll be in good shape. Drew being a Mercedes will kind of give us a good pace idea of where we're going to shake out as far as, you know, lap time ultimately, but just being about 1 second off, a little bit more, a couple tenths, 1.2. That's encouraging. Again, not my best lap, far from my best qualifying track, so should bode well for our race pace. Make sure I got tires unchecked. I do. Leave at default fuel lengths, and we'll go from there. Obviously, the pace lap uses a little bit of fuel, but Get everything nice and worked up here. So yeah, if we can get up to, before our pit stop, maybe 8th to 10th, 5th to 8th, somewhere around there. We know we have good pit stops. We know the AI take tires, so we should gain 5 to 10 seconds, or maybe even a little more depending on other things. Maybe 10 to 15 seconds on that. So if we can just kind of hang out. We saw at Daytona we made up 20 seconds on Junior. We're able to, put ourselves in position before my mistake there. So, a little bit shorter pit road here, but we should still be okay to make decent time, or overcut, excuse me, and go long and just put a minimal amount of fuel in the car, and we'll see what the other strategies play out as, and hopefully we stay out of trouble. So thank you all so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video today, like and subscribe down below, and let's get it going at Sebring. So pace car is going to dip off here. We'll try to time this out a little bit, not too terrible. Decent start there. I wanted to get a little bit of a running start, but I didn't want to be in this mess that's coming here. We're going to look drivers left here. A little bit of contact there. Looks like we're going to gain 2 spots there on that, so that's chuckling down the inside here. There is contact. Porsche there, Sean. Felt like I had the space there, but obviously the AIs were programmed to be like, nope, so it's okay. Hopefully we can take care of that. Shouldn't be too bad. I'll take the faster pair on the pit stop just in case. Hopefully we can grab one down here. Gonna be a big lift early there. Not gonna take that one up the inside there. That's a never gonna work out scenario. So we're up 3 already. That's good. Good start. Alright, hope we can continue to pick off a couple more here. That's not going to work in that section. Just don't have the distance. We got to be a little closer for that one. In the sunset could be an opportunity maybe here as well. Thought about it, not close enough to get to Simpson there. So we'll back out of that one, continue to be patient. Simpson's actually lost a couple spots there. But patience is the key here. We got nowhere to go but down, really, in this scenario. We can lose a lot here. We probably won't gain a lot. You see just a couple of cars up ahead there as Nim cross, so we've already done a lot of our job as far as keeping him in sight. Staying in the hunt is the key, so I don't know where Lauren went. It looks like Tran got ahead there. Maybe something happened to Drew on the start. Lauren ended up behind us. No, Lauren's 2 in front of us. Excuse me, I'm blind. But still, we're looking pretty good. Again, maybe some of these guys running a little bit different wing setup. I'm still running that same 7 wing that we've had the whole season. So again, this could be one of the tracks where down the straightaway we are, potentially not in as strong, but through a lot of these corners and brake zones we might be a lot stronger. Of course, Daytona I got it all wrong. We need way less wing there than we end up with. We've been pretty in the hunt at all these other tracks, so see if we can take a look here. Couldn't get in there like I want to. And get the front end to bite in. Did get a decent X off of there, even though we didn't make that pass. So hopefully we can make it down here. See if Ryan goes defensive or not. He won't. So we'll duck out here. Gonna lift early and let us have that one. Use the first gear there since we were in shallow and deep. So that's up to 11th. So Lauren right in front of us, Nim 2 ahead of us. Those are the key positions to keep an eye out on. Everybody else are pretty much, for the most part, safe for points for at least today. Someone weird wins the race and makes up 10 on us or something. If we run 10th, then that's not good, obviously. But 25 points back is enough of a gap to 4th or so. So just gotta focus on car 37 and car 21 today. Starting to get in that rhythm now, getting that groove. We got everything up to temperature, running pressure. Just gotta go nice and smooth. A little bit of curb there, just ran over it with the right front tire and didn't notice until the exit like usually. Push the nose again there. It's tough getting into that corner. We're gonna have to go defensive down here. It's really, really hard to get into that last right-hander here down the backstretch. I don't know why. But I always seem to struggle getting the car with the direction change there. So Cover off Brian there. When they're a little bit deep, he should be able to come back at us here, but hopefully we can hold this one out down towards turn 1. And we will. Lost quite a bit of time there, over a second to Lauren up ahead as we got a yellow flag, probably a car off here. Yeah, Dale Jr. from the lead has spun off in his Porsche, so that's a freebie up to 10th there. Of course, same for everybody else, another freebie point. We slide big time there, maybe a little bit too much rear braking the car. But again, that's what you need to try to get the nose turned in, so we just have to be mindful of that, especially when the tires go off. Just about get the car slid. We talked about that last time on the road to Atlanta too, with the direction change, the car sliding on the rear end, under braking. Another yellow flag here. Has someone else gone off? They have. It's Alex Saunders from last, though, in his Audi, so not of consequence to us. Sean Nash has gotten around Brian Simpson behind us for 11th spot, or what will become 11th spot. Starting to lose track with these cars ahead just a little bit. Now we talked about my long run pace being a strength, but we saw some of these different cars here. We struggle here just on straight up lap pace sometimes. We saw it a little bit in the GT4 and F3 races, but we were very, very good at the short circuit in a couple of those other series rounds here. So see if we can hopefully claw back a little bit here. We'll need to be lightning fast. Going to go in there very, very shallow, actually. That's going to hurt our exit big time. Just tried to get the car turned in there and actually did too early and messed it up, but lost another second or so, maybe a little bit more this lap. So struggling just a little bit right now. Maybe not the best run I've ever had. Maybe we're running a little bit of a compromised setup to where we need to be, but hopefully we can again use that long run pit strategy to kind of catapult ourselves up a few places at least. So keep that in mind, play the long game, still take care of the tires to make sure we don't have to get any, make sure we don't have a big slide in the spin here early into going. Another yellow flag here for a stopped race car. It's Tran again from the lead in the Audi, so Tran got the lead. I believe they'll probably hand it back to Drew. So again, up to 9th there, another freebie. Yeah, they will hand it back to Drew up at the front. So Drew and Dano have kind of pulled away from Kevin and Brent and everybody else now. Are we going to see a similar thing we saw at Road Atlanta where cars just going off left and right? That's the question here. Alright, so again, I talked a little bit, not my best track by far. Plenty of time here, several 12 hours at Daytona. Probably should have won at least one. I botched one, and I know I had a teammate botch one from the lead earlier I'd say, at different times. So been competitive, plenty of laps around here. The car just a little bit slidey. I know it's a hot track, hot day, but under braking, we talked about the rear tire stepping out, and then just on transition and turn in and stuff and release, it's a little bit slidey as well, but not an excuse. It's what we got, so we gotta keep hammering down and trying to make lap time and doing our best because we gotta stay in the fight. So if we can just stay in the fight, end up hopefully near the top 5, that'll be good enough. So up to 9th here. I know it says 10th on the thing. We got around Tran with his spin at turn 2. A little better lap this time for us. We didn't lose quite as much time. We might not have even lost any time. We might have actually gained a little bit with them battling ahead of us. But a bit of a push there, so maybe still a little bit too much, not correct balance. Best lap there for us, finally down back in the 3s. Our Q lap was in the 3s, but of course I don't know where I pulled that out of, so maybe that was a little bit of a fluke lap that we started as high as we did, believe it or not, 15th. We've had that a little bit before. Hinkle's still holding up Lauren here, so if we can continue to chop little pieces away at this, that'll be good for us if we can even get by these two and get within one place of where Nim's at currently, up in 7th and 6th. That would be ideal. Under 2 seconds to the car ahead. We've pulled out about 1 second now. The car behind, a little bit of gap. Still battling up ahead of us. Car just all over the place under braking right now, but still just barely getting the thing stopped. Don't want to make too big of a swing at it at this point in time. We just got to be more careful about the weight transfer, and GT3 car is far from my best as far as setup building goes. Not an idiot or anything, but definitely don't know the finite ways to make the car change balance. I know I could change some ride heights, some dampers and stuff, but either way, we have closed on these two a little bit again this lap. Of course, this is the trickier part for me. Not trickier, but a couple of the corners I'm not as good at here. 16 and 17, final two. There's 15. They're battling. No, it's long as Cascade touch just a little bit. Hopefully get just a little bit of toe here. It looks like up ahead, Kevin, 6 seconds up the road, is starting to hold those guys up just a wee bit. That time got the car turned in, might have cost us a little bit of speed, but the gain was beneficial, so stay in the toe of Lauren here as much as we can. Looks like Hinkle's starting to hold her up. Trying to go around the outside now as Lauren in turn one. Going to be able to make that pass, see if we can follow through here and get around Michael. Big dive there into turn two. Saw this play out earlier. We're going to back out of that one and try to set up here for this corner exit. A little bit of a slide, but hopefully with the toe we can go get this pass done at the hairpin. Hopefully. Saw Michael going defensive. Going to continue to do so. First gear, try to get the thing lined up. Decent exit out of there, maybe not the best, but we were offline. Tricky pass to make around here unless it's a big break zone. This, I guess, is a decent one. If we can hold them out here, that we have two left-hand kinks here coming. We are going to get that pass done, so that's 8th place here. Hinkle's lost 2 spots in 1 lap. Lost about 2 seconds up ahead to where Lauren's at in her Ford GT. A little bit of a slide on entry there from us in the rear end. So we got through Michael. That was a key pass there. Seemed to be holding all these cars up a little bit. Hopefully it'll hold up the cars behind us now. See if we can run down the Ford up ahead along with the other cars. Nim about 4.5 seconds up the road with some others. Struggling through there. Just the direction change so quick. Load. A lot of weight transfer. We gotta keep pressing on. Hinkle with a big toe behind us, just a couple tenths back. Go. Feel a little bit better about the car. Still not great. Seems like we're just sliding a little bit too much, so I don't know if that's a combination of a lot of things going on, or if I just got the wing settings wrong, or the car set thing with all the bumps. That could very well be it as well, so just gotta keep rocking. Pretty good through that section, actually. Gained 3 or 4 tenths behind us. Back to Hinkle, made up a couple. Just about dropped the wheel in the dirt right there. He's got to be careful charging in here really hard. Got turned in there nicely. A little bit of understeer through the center, but decent exit as well. If we could get our pedals to calibrate 100%, that'd be nice. This has been a decent lap so far, so made up a little bit of ground here. Nim's got for C-Bell up ahead. That's for, I believe, 5th spot. Yeah, so Nim is up to 5th around Christopher Bell. I believe is also in a Porsche. Cloud cover coming here over Sebring, Florida. Hopefully we can get get this section right. Decent enough. Didn't really lose anything, or at least not very much here. Let's see what this lap time ends up looking like. We have pulled away from Hinkle, and the car's behind a little bit on this lap, so that's good. Just about get the thing through 17. Okay, lap. We'll see what it ends up looking like. Might be a PB. It will be 2:03.7, so a little bit of an entry slide there, but we did make up a little bit of time that lap on the cars ahead. All of them, not just Lauren. Oh man, that was a big one there on turn-in. Cost us a couple more tenths there. Can't be doing that too many times. Definitely slippery racetrack, cost us about a second right there. Not good. Trying really, really hard, but it's just, we don't quite have the race car today. Gonna have to play the strategy game again like we did at Daytona. Decently competitive, but I'm assuming that the bumps are making it a little bit weird, some of the different brake zones, so hopefully Watkins Glen is better suited to where we're at. Again, a big slide under braking. The car turned in. Where are we at for time? Just past the 1/3 distance mark already, so about 16 minutes into the race here. 29 to go. Oh, big spin right there. That's Lauren. So third in the points has gone around there through turn 14. Gonna dump her well back down the order. Probably 10 spots lost at very least. Looks like Nim and Seabell are still battling up ahead, so maybe they'll slow each other down. We're a little bit in no man's land now. Not really anything to chase after, but big development in the points right there. Obviously, Lauren falls back, but we get the extra point. Move forwards up more towards where Nim is running, so even if we finish like this, it'll be 5 points heading into Watkins, so something to keep in mind like I talked about earlier. It's like they're pretty close up ahead, battling, so maybe that'll be encouraging to slow them down a little bit. So we're up to 7, so it will now be as we run off course on the first page here, 10 seconds off the lead. I believe it's still Drew. I didn't get to look there. I'll look on this next straightaway coming up here. Opened up about 2 seconds behind the Hinkle now. Yep, still Drew from Dano, and then a little bit of a gap to Kevin and Brent, a little bit of a gap to the two right in front of us, and then us in 7th. So a little bit spread out here now through the field. Still trying to run down these two ahead of us. Seabell, if he keeps trying to battle with them, we will get to that battle eventually. Little baby steps, a couple tenths at a time. Might take us another 10 laps, but we'll get there. So start to see cars pitting here not before too long. Another 3 to 4 laps probably. We'll see the first takers on pit road. We'll be past half distance at that point, of course. So you see the rubber being applied to the racetrack. Very distinct grooves. That's where the sticky stuff is going to be. Where you want to be. You don't want to be in the marbles outside of that for sure. Around a place like this, you'll go off very quickly. That could be part of what I'm dealing with as well for the handling in some corners. Of course, really hurting us through turn 16 every time we're in the marbles, pretty much every lap because I suck. Yeah, all that's out there in the marbles, so we're going to do the downshift and just get the thing turned in. Reset. Hinkle's made a little bit of time on us again this lap. Not my best section of the course, these final 2 corners here, so. Of course, probably the easiest passing zones, these final 2 corners. And 17, but getting a good run out of 16 down the long straightaway. Very crucial to making a pass and making good lap times, so. See how we cycle out there, still in the low of 4. Yeah, just about get the thing turned in. Still hanging on. It looks like Nim is kind of fought off that pressure of Seabell for the time being. Nims had a spin. Again, huge championship points implications there. Nim Cross with a spin on the exit of turn 2. Did he touch a curb? Did he just drop a wheel? Don't know, but that is going to put us in a great position for the points. He's going to fall all the way down to 15th or worse. It looks like Lauren recovered around 15th from her spin earlier, but Nim has dropped well down the field. So now our rabbit is Christopher Bell up ahead, and that's suddenly for 5th place. We're up to 6th here, making about 5 passes and getting about 4 freebies so far. So we saw the same thing at Road Atlanta. Even though we were leading the race, the biggest thing we got to do is keep it on the island, keep it going the right direction, and that's going to bear its fruit later on. So we can just keep chugging through here. We'll be in decent shape. I talked about wanting to be top 5 and wanting to be in front of our other 2 main title contenders. Well, we've done that today. So far, very well in hand, and we know that Drew's had a couple issues in different races, so he's out of the points. So him being up front doesn't really bother me as fast as that Mr. Mercedes is. He can win both races for all I care, as long as we finish in the top 5 or so. Still just struggling big time through that turn 16, good grief. But definitely a major shakeup here on lap 10 of this race. Both our main title contenders have had problems. Let's not join them in this race. We can just get some freebie points. We gave away a couple of points, 2 points at Daytona that we didn't need to give away there. Just for trying to get the stop. We don't need to continue to do that. Looks like we have a little bit of understeer here, which is weird on exit because we have so much oversteer under braking, which is the balance of the car and rear brake. What a load of emotions going through here. What a lot of things we have to balance. A little bit of push there, slight lift on exit, not to run out too wide. Keep everything in touch here. Just gotta stay calm. End of this next lap or so, we'll probably check where we're at for fuel. Be probably a 22 lap race, maybe 21 or 23. We'll do the math, not right now. I'm that concerned. Again, a little bit of a gap there as we're just struggling with understeer now. Front tire's starting to go off, but we're just going to keep soldiering on because I don't think it's costing us that much where our true pace is. Less than a second for sure. Again, a little bit no man's land here. We got Seabell 3.5 seconds ahead, Hinkle 3 seconds behind. So I'm not really going anywhere at the moment, just kind of making lap time, trying to stay in touch. Still about 10 or 11 seconds off the lead. Dano keeping Drew honest up there. So that could be big for our pit stop opportunities. See how different cars decide to play the strategy. Check how much fuel we need into this lap. Alright. Yeah, we'll check again. We should be at halfway. Yes, we are. Start with 20.6 gallons here for our abbreviated fuel supply. Nim has had to make a pit stop, so he's going to dump well down the order. Looks like we got about 13.3, so we need about 6 gallons here. Put 6 gallons in there next time we get a chance. Keep that in mind. Kind of varies how much fuel we need based on track. Some tracks it's 4.5 to 5, like Road Atlanta with the shorter lap. Here we're going to need 6, just with the way things are shaking out. So start to get that set here. .1 gallons going in the tank. So it's our pit stop all set. We'll not put tires on, of course. 6 gallons of fuel. We'll get the tear off. Why not? Get the fast spare to fix that damage on the right front fender, if there is any, from that opening couple of laps there with the Porsche. Don't remember who it was, but it's fine. So we see the first pit stops from the cars up ahead. For the meantime, we're at halfway. Nobody's decided to come in yet. Sometimes Drew goes long. We saw at track like Daytona, Drew went very long. Does fix there on entry. But Spa, the opening round, of course, he was the first car to pit, even though he was running up towards the front. So see how the strategy plays out between him and Dano, where we cycle out, trying to go long again as usual. Try to pit with 10 to 15 minutes left in the race, hopefully. Yeah, the understeer through there, I mean, it's bad through a lot of corners, but that corner just kills us like 4/10 every single lap. It's brutal. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a setup thing or what, but whatever. We've lost a little bit of touch with Christopher Bell. It looks like Drew is pitting right now, so he's going to go with the early pit stop here. He might be the only one. Yes, he's going to be the only one. So interesting, the Mercedes going to peel off early. Our Mercedes going to go long. Obviously, Nim had his issue. Interesting strategy, so we'll see how that plays out between him and Dano. But what I was saying is we're just struggling. I don't know what it is. We've lost track with Seabell. Kind of maintained around 3 seconds back to Hinkle behind us. So that's okay. Down under 20 minutes to go now. So we're still in net 6th place, so still doing okay in that regard. Haven't caught any traffic yet. We'll take a look at the leaders and see where they are. Of course, a lot of traffic will come after the pit stops. Yeah, still about 30 or 35 seconds from traffic, so shouldn't be a major pressing issue anytime soon here. Slide there, just a little bit too deep. It's fine. Could use a good cheeseburger right now. I just got that craving down that last straightaway, like thinking of a cheeseburger. I haven't eaten yet, so maybe that's part of it. But I got a job pressing before us here in this race car before we gotta even think about that. You do the work here in the race car, and then you can go enjoy the cheeseburger. So see what I can whip up later on. Just gotta stay in touch. We're gonna make up time with no tires, so we can just stay in touch, keep the tires on it. Yeah, just push through there. We'll just 2nd gear to get the thing turned in. Admit defeat early. We'll see how far back some of these cars are. Looks like a lot of pit stops coming here. Nim Cross got back out in 37th a lap down, so a lot of pit stops coming here this lap. Looks like maybe all the front runners. 4 cars left ahead of us. They might all come in right here. Looks like they will, so just about 2 or 3 laps past halfway. Most of the leaders are going to come on into pit road. So we won't lead this lap, but next time by we'll cycle through. Dale Jr. on pit road in his Porsche as well. Issues early. TJ Majors has made a stop as well as Dave Goslin. They're out in front of us. It's like maybe perhaps most other cars have come to pit road there on that lap, so Drew might have just undercut them all by 1 lap. See how that plays out with whether he comes out in traffic or not. See how big the undercut is for those guys. Looks like just about everybody else has come in. Has anybody stayed out long? Doesn't look like it yet. Still on pit road there, Dano and others. Still keeping an eye on that relative now. 40 seconds. Kevin Combs looks like he's gone an extra lap. There's Dano. I'll move the relative down for the time being so you can see them. Peter Inglis, and then there's Drew Adamson has gotten by about 3 to 4 seconds. So a great pit work again by the Mercedes crew. He's got now 3 to 4 seconds ahead, and about 45 seconds or 50 seconds behind us here on track. So we can have a little pit time less than that. We should inherit the lead as I run off track there. Just a small correction. So Combs has yet to pit. I believe everybody else has pitted. Drew Adamson back there will inherit, I guess, de facto lead. We'll see how we come out. But he's ahead of Dano by 3 to 4 seconds there, it looks like. So undercut working a little bit there, maybe a little better in lap and out lap, and then get a little toe perhaps. So yeah, it looks like 5 to 6 seconds is where the margin's going to be. Back there, Nim Cross. What a point shakeup. He's going to run probably 25th at best. So interesting to see how that shakes up for this race here. Obviously, a big points delta for us, even if we finish 5th. That's 20 more points in the bank. As well as Lauren, she's probably going to finish 10th at best. So if we can even finish 5th, that's 5 more points to her as well. Avoid some of these cars leaving pit road, not a problem. We get through David there. So we're up to cars in the mid-20s, it looks like now, besides TJ Majors, who's a lap down. A little bit deep there for me, just a little bit of a slide on entry. Might want to pit before we catch all this traffic, so if we catch this traffic in a weird spot, we might pit then, even if we're not quite out of fuel yet. Looks like we got about 2 more laps after this, perhaps, of fuel. So maybe around the 10-minute to go mark in the race, give or take. We might pit earlier than that just to try to stay out of some of this traffic. Don't want to be carting through there. That could not be any good. So we'll see how it is when we get there, see how long it takes us. If it's just one car, we might try to slice through them as a lapper. If it's a big group, we'll try to come in at a different time. Alright, we'll see how we play this. Uppercut here, hoping that no tires gets us out ahead. Should. Then we'll see what kind of pace those guys have on it in the back. Could be at least a second or two faster. So far, Drew is, about a second a lap faster than we are currently. We are sliding around, taking it a little bit easier at some points. Don't want to make the mistake, obviously. Again, they're a big slide that we can turn in. Just about recover it. Cars are up here ahead of us in this line, quite a few. We want to pit now. We don't want to get caught behind traffic. That's not going to be good. Then we're going to pit right now. I don't want to even think about getting caught with any of this traffic, so we're going to come in right here a little bit earlier than we need to. 2 laps earlier, I guess, and come in, get our pit stop out of the way, and avoid that line of cars up ahead. So for the cone, 45, excuse me. Pit box earlier than it was in previous races. We started back in 15th today, so keep that in mind there on the lookout. There's our dude. Someone had to tow. It's Kevin. He must have run out of fuel. Trying to push it and ran out of fuel. We're going to stop on our box. Keep an eye on the fuel meter there. About 9 seconds worth of fuel. Back up to pit road speed as fast as we can. It is going to be a nice delta gap of around 15 or so seconds back to Drew Adamson here. See what kind of pace they have. We've gotten the job done. We've taken care of the car, taken care of the tires. We've gotten out with the lead. Can we hold it? Will traffic play a factor? Nim Cross right up in front of us. We could put him a lap down. 15 seconds is the gap. A nice gap from him back to Kevin Bobbitt, actually. Dano's had some kind of issue somewhere. Now it's about a 12-second lead back to Kevin, who's inherited 3rd. I don't know what kind of issue Dano has had here after his pit stop. Came out what would be 3rd place, but obviously has had an off or a pit stop issue or something. Caused him to have to tow or come back in or something like that. What kind of pace do we have compared to car 19, who started up at the front of the pack, led for a long distance here, a great battle with Dano, who's not out of his way. Can he run us back down here in the final, what do we got, about 6-7 laps to go here? 6 laps to go, so. And we hang on to our cars, we're going to have a yellow flag. John Hughes, who was running towards the back there, spun off in his Bimmer. Rejoins behind us, thankfully, so no issue there. Drew a little bit stuck behind the Ian back there, you see on the relatives, so see how long it takes them to get clear. Nim really the only car up in front of us for about 20 seconds there, so good job getting us out in clean traffic there with the early pit call. It would have been terrible, obviously, if we just came out in a different big block of cars than the one we were about to catch. So yeah, going okay, we're doing alright. Still stuck behind the Ian is Drew back there, so. Of course, we took victory at Spa. Finished 4th after my mistake at Daytona, but we weren't going to win that race. Should have won Road America. I think we finished 8th there or so. The mistake I made again in traffic. But then we came out and gave him a slugfest last time out at Road Atlanta. Absolutely fantastic drive, start to finish, led lights to flag, as they'd say. Start to finish, no contest. We ended up winning that race by like 30 or 40 seconds. Lapped a good chunk of the field, up into the top 10, I think we ended up lapping in that race. So great work, great pit work, great strategy. Everything was just spot on there. Trying to replicate that with probably not the fastest car here today. But the pit work and the race strategy, not putting tires on the end towards the front. Again, a little bit out of my control. Can't make the AI do anything, whatever, even though it's logical and not need tires in a 45-minute race. Nonetheless, you know, we'll take what we can get. We probably ran up 5th to 6th. I think we could have had a good shot at Christopher Bell, perhaps, for 5th as the race went on. But we were up to 6th from 15th, so we had good race pace again. Made, 5 or 6 passes and got a handful of freebies there from cars going off. So obviously, if we would have gotten Dano here in hindsight, I didn't even think about that. We would have got another spot from whatever happened to Dano. So we would have been up to net 5th place there with 6 passes, I think, and 4 freebies. But our pit strategy and going a little bit of an overcut, stay out of some traffic, and not put tires on this race car, and we're inheriting the lead. So we're giving up decent amounts of time here. We definitely are slower than what Drew is at. Definitely struggling, but I don't think he can catch us in another, 5 laps here. So probably going to have 5 laps to go. We should have plenty of fuel for that. Should be 5 laps left here because we're under 10 minutes, but over 8 minutes. Let's do another quick calc there. Yep, 9 minutes, 5 laps to go. So for the moment, Nim running 33rd. That's a 32-point delta, but I think he's going to get another spot there from a car that's pitted, perhaps. So let's say he finishes 31st and all said and done. 30-point delta is going to make it 37 points heading into the next round. So that'll put us in a position where we only need to finish 20th or something on the whole field to be able to take up that championship at Watkins. So maybe take a little bit more risk, go for it, see if we can win the race. Looks like Drew is around a second quicker than us currently, as Hughes has had an issue back there. Going to slow him up a little bit. So he's around a second lap quicker, maybe a little bit more sometimes, but just nursing the thing home at this point. We've done our job. Little understeer again there. I think that's from the pedal being sticky. It's giving us gas in the center of the corner when I don't want any, I think is what that is. Gotta be smart and smooth here. We did our work. We got through the field enough to capitalize on a short pit, or a long pit, I should say. Like, hit the other way around, go deep. Not put the tires on, so we've made that work. Just trying to bring it home. So, not a lot of traffic up ahead. Only 2 cars in the next 15 seconds, so shouldn't be a factor. I don't think we're going to catch Nim. Pace is pretty good, and we're just kind of hanging out. So, might catch Tran, depending on if he keeps having issues. We'll see how it shakes out, but definitely 2 faster cars there up ahead of us in Nim and Tran. Not racing them directly. Push off understeery again. Just killing us through that corner. We're losing probably over 20 laps. We probably lost about 30 seconds in that corner alone from our race. If we could just get through there well every time, we'd be 30 seconds further ahead. But that's okay. The car obviously is not bounced exactly the way I would want it to be, but good enough. Black lines there from all the tire marks, tire deg. 5 laps of fuel, 4 laps of race, should be plenty to good. Should be enough for a cool down lap as well. Alright, get through there. Looks like Tran has had some kind of issue. Either an off or ran out of fuel or something weird there, because he's slow up ahead of us. He's obviously rejoined and gotten going again. Alright, let's see what we can do. A little bit deep in there again. We'll use first gear to get the car off this corner since we had to practically stop. Again, about a second gain that lap for Drew, down to 12 seconds behind, but we're just about 3 laps to go when we come back here. He's 14 seconds to the good on the cars behind him. Mike Berg has had an issue here. Right in the middle of the racetrack, he stopped. Started to roll, I thought, there, so we slammed on the brakes to make sure we missed that. It's been really bad news. We would just plowed right into him, so good to be safe. But shouldn't be caught from behind here. We've done our job. Looks like Mike has gotten going again in front of Drew, so Drew might even lose more time than we lost checking up, trying to get around the stricken 44 Lamborghini. Best we've gotten through there all day, actually a little bit oversteer. I might have induced that with the rev spike on turn-in. One rear tires, obviously, or all the tires, I guess, are worn, but those are the ones that would have dealt with that. Trying to be soft and patient and flowing in there. There again, a little bit of oversteer. And understeer center exit on throttles, so interesting setup dilemma here. Can't really go either way with the rear wing. That won't do it. That'll just hurt one or the other more, even if it fixes the opposite. So Tran and his Audi struggling. Of course, Tran notable for our incident right here in this coming corner in the McLaren. I think 2 of my 3 1Xs, I just said that, and he spun again there in front of us. We had the issue where I tapped him around early in the GT4 race. Spins in front of us right when I was talking about it, of course. So we'll see how that impacts the race. It looks like Drew has had a little bit of an issue with Tran back there, maybe getting through that traffic, or with Mike, perhaps. Anyways, I was just talking about the issues we've had. I think 2 of my off tracks have been there in turn 1. One has been down here on kind of kink turn that leads into the back half of the circuit. Dropped the wheel looking at other things, not a problem. Will be 2 laps to go when we get back around here. No pressure. I've opened up that gap a little bit, more of an issue this lap for Drew than what we've had, so 14 seconds is plenty. Fuel, we got plenty. We got enough for a cool down lap and everything. Could do burnouts in this car. We might next time out. We'll see how the fuel plays out and where we finish. If we win the race, maybe we'll do a burnout at Watkins, but we're not going to do a burnout here. Still need this motor for the next race. We've used our second motor already, so we can't rebuild. Need to save this puppy. We got 1 more race to go to try to lock up a championship, and this is a big statement here today. After how bad Road America went and how well Road Atlanta went, so I guess how bad Road America ended, we ran really well there, and how bad we were at Daytona, finished with a top 5. To come in here and kind of play the cards right, make some good passes from the middle of the pack, and be in position to inherit the lead with some pitch, I think is a great drive. So Mike's had another issue back there, you can see on the relative. 2 laps to go. We will have a 22 lap race like I thought around pit stop time. 2.5 minutes to go, way more than 1 lap's worth, so we're going to go over by about 1.5 minutes on our time, but still going to be 2 more laps. Turned in there nicely. Pretty much in cruise mode here. We can give up good chunks of time if we want to or need to. No pressure. Nim has made it to 31st like I predicted that he may, with some issues for other people, so it's going to be a 30-point delta nonetheless here, so 37 points currently. Still room for him to move up. Obviously I can't move up, I can only go down. The other thing I can do with having to blip the throttle on entry is, of course, hopefully they'll reset my throttle positioning. Spinner there for Kim, she's already behind him. Hopefully they'll reset my throttle positioning and not have the thing stick. Oh, but Tom has had an issue. Perhaps it was a 2-car incident there. It is, it looks like, as we're going to go over here. So careful through there, lose some time. Looks like maybe Tom had a spin and Kim ran into him, perhaps. I don't know exactly, but... So again, another position there from 18th. Tom's going to fall back, getting him another spot at the very tail end of this race. So hopefully that's the last one. We don't need to be giving him too many points there. Otherwise, if we have a DNF, we'll be in trouble. But we'll check all that out after the race. No need to worry about the points at this point. We've done our job. All we can do is win. So everywhere else is fall where they fall, but we did our job by winning the race. So a little bit hot in there again, a little bit of a slide. Tire is very, very old now, obviously since the start of the race. Tom again rejoins right in front of Drew, so going to be another car for Drew to pass if there is issues for us at any point. Have to deal with that lapper. Second to last time through sunset. We'll get the white flag here. Trans had another issue. White flag is out. Final lap here at Sebring International. Fuel warning light goes on. Usually means about 2 to 3 laps left. Probably 2 laps around here, but plenty good. We only got to make one more. Alex Saunders had another issue. It looks like at turn 2. We'll come up on him. He's actually on the straightaway. That's a weird place to have an issue. Just lift off there and be careful. Can never be too careful of where that car is going to start going again, rejoin. We can only lose at that point if he just makes a dart across the track or something, so lift down the throttle allows us to have a little more maneuverability. See how it shakes out, but we're going to have a great points day, great race, just the race we needed here to kind of solidify ourselves as the favorites heading into the final race next time out. So that's what we need to do. We did our job, ran a great race, made some nice passes, good start, stayed out of trouble for the most part, so that's all it takes. Of course, like I said earlier, if you like this video, make sure you drop a like and a sub down below so you don't miss any of the action. You will not want to miss the finale of the series. And then the races that we have coming up after that, I'm going to keep it a surprise till next time out. But we'll see how those look after Watkins Glen. But yeah, if you want to see more of this, anything else that comes out on this channel, make sure you drop the sub down below. And like I said, if you enjoyed this, like really helps me. I really appreciate it. So thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope it hasn't been too boring a race. I know we caught some cars, made some nice passes in the first 20 minutes. And then after the pit stops, things kind of settled in and we played some cards a little bit differently. But sometimes that's how racing goes, the strategy part of it. Probably actually my best facet of racing actually is not making mistakes and having the strategy go right. I'm usually not just faster than everybody else, but that's a different point for another day. Looks like Nim has gotten up to 30th place. He might get 29th here from TJ actually on the final lap, or maybe a couple more spots, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Nonetheless, going to be a 25-point delta here today, so we're going to certainly go up over a 30 advantage. But the main point, we will take the victory, so job done. We win today at Sebring. Third win of the season, and perhaps the sweetest one without the fastest car. We had the fastest car at Spa. Just a matter of time to make those positions. Obviously had the race won handily pretty much at Road America, made the mistake. And then Daytona didn't go as we'd hoped. We were pretty up to lunch there, and then just domination last time out at Road Atlanta. But today we got ourselves in the hunt with probably not the fastest car, just a borderline top 5 car. A couple issues for those around us, and we're able to kind of capitalize and rope it in and bring it home with a victory. So that's all we need to do today. Just do our cool down lap here. We'll come in, wait for the results to populate official. Nice and smooth here on our cool down lap. Final margin of victory back to Drew Adamson and the other sister Mercedes, who had such a great season apart from that one race where he had the issues and dropped way back. 12 seconds back, another 14 from him, back to third place Brent Foster, who just holds off Christopher Bell for the podium. Dano does recover to 5th place, so whatever happened to him wasn't too terribly bad, but would have been right there on top of him for battling for 5th. Fourth, taking me out, so battling for 4th with him. Christopher Bell as well, we were right in that fight, a couple seconds behind him at various points, so. Good race all around. Hope it was enjoyable. We didn't have to do any resets. Qualifying went pretty straightforward, even though it wasn't the best lap I've ever run. And the race was clean for the most part. A couple of aggressive moves early, a little bit of car damage, but we got that taken care of. Didn't seem to impact us at all. It was nice and smooth. I can't wait to look at what the tire wear was, actually. It'd be interesting to see that. Alright, we'll come on down for the pit stop here. Not going to do a burnout like I talked about a little bit earlier. Where did Nim end up finishing? He did get up to 28, so he made one pass. So 27-point delta should be a 34-point advantage for us heading into the next final race at Watkins Glen. I don't know exactly where Lauren finished. I'll do that. Look at that in a second, and then we'll look at kind of how that sets us up for the finale at Watkins. Come on into our pit stop here. roll by our dude, and then we'll check out the finishing order and I guess the potential points, which I will confirm at the end of this before we sign off. So there's our dude. Pit stop. Yay. So where did some of the notable people finish? Christopher Bell, like I said, 4th. Lauren ended up 7th. Great recovery drive for her after her spin that we were behind her in about the first 15 or 20 minutes of the race. Sarah, 11th place in one of the other Mercedes, just under a minute back. You can see the order there. Jimmy Broadbent back in 16th in the Teal-mobile. Dale Jr. went from 2nd with his spin early in his Porsche back to 22nd. Decent recovery there. So it might be Lauren, actually, that's going to be 2nd in points here. I'll have to take a look on the official tally. Yeah, so solid run for us. Obviously, didn't dominate this race like we had in previous attempts, but yeah, so actually Drew is going to jump ahead of him as well. So 24 points is the gap back to Lauren. Drew Adamson 31 back, 34 back to Nim Cross, and that's it. So it's the top 4 are Hinkle is back in 5th, but he's 39 back. So if he won and we finished, which I don't think he'll win, if he won and we finished last, we would tie with him. So he's out because we would be at the tiebreaker ahead. Won a couple of races, obviously. So we'd have to finish, what, 31st, or, well, 32nd, I guess, because we had a tiebreaker, or worse for Drew to take the title, or Nim, a couple more than that. But Lauren is 24 points back. So if we can finish in the top half, have a clean race, stay on lead lap, avoid issues, that should be job done at Watkins. So that's something to look forward to, and hopefully will manifest itself. So that's what's coming up next. Watkins Glen, the finale, last time out. So I guess that's what we got to look forward to, and then I'll kind of hint at what we got coming up next after that. So drop a like and a sub down below if you enjoyed this race today, and if you can't wait to see the next race at Watkins Glen, just let me know down below. But other than that, until next time, bye.